Okay, fans. Hello there, it is Professor LDV Ashwood, here and ready to report on the crimes of criminal boss Giovanni Pokémon.
And I am Dr. Cactus. I'm the lab assistant. Hi, I work here.
We are here to provide you an interesting scoop and take on the leader of famed criminal organization Team Rocket and their leader Giovanni Giovanna. He has no confirmed last name nor records of heritage, so we'll be giving him various false last names throughout this as a way of paying homage to his criminal activity.
Well, let me set up the background music. Let me just click this one very real, very big red button right here. Anyways, we got this.
Yes, the music button has been pressed and sound has been turned off. Everyone besides us is now deafened for eternity. So, now, anyways, Assistant Cactus, shall we begin our dissection of the crimes of Team Rocket and their head boss Giovanni last name?
I mean, first of all, we should probably talk about which ones we're talking about.
Alright, yes. We have Giovanni as he's seen in the regions of Kanto, Johto, Unova, Alola, the EX one.
Okay, and we're also going to be talking about his manga appearance, his origin appearance, and for a very brief amount of time, his appearance in the very funny spin-off game known as Pokemon Masters EX.
Which reinstates both his least serious and most serious crimes simultaneously.
Yeah. With that being said, let's get this on the road.
In the name of Arceus, Mew, and Shaman, let us begin with this horrible detailed diatribe.
We should probably start, like, with, you know, mainline version. I feel like that's the important one.
Let's start. Giovanni last name, also known as Giovanni, the Boss, the Big Cajones, and known by his son, Silver, a piece of shit old man.
You just said a curse word.
Dang it, my bad.
It's fine. Don't pay
We get
attention.
one free.
We get one freebie.
First one's a slip of tongue. We get one freebie. Doesn't count. Doesn't count. The first one counts.
Okay, anyways.
That's an actual quote. I don't think that one would have counted anyways because that is literally from Silver from the manga.
Oh, lovely. Let's go.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
mainline Giovanni is a antagonist in, of course, the lovely, lovely game of Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Fire Red, Leaf Green, and both of the Let's Go games, as those are all the Kanto games that he appears in. Which is literally all of them.
Yes, he appears in every iteration of the Kanto games. A brief overview. Kanto is the first region we're introduced to in Pokemon, including even in the anime, where it's where the protagonist of, for about 20-odd years now, Ash Ketchum, originates from.
He's no longer the protagonist, Lewis.
No, the protagonist, I know. That's why I said for about 20-odd years, instead of going up and saying ongoing protagonist.
I'm stupid. Don't mind me. I don't know how I got this job.
You are. It's because I had no one else around.
Anyways, but yeah, no, he is a... But he is...
This is why you hire people who accept pay in the form of acorns.
I'm just canonically a squirrel.
Yes,
I'm canonically a squirrel.
Yes, you're a squirrel in 2 lab coats.
Anyways,
Giovanni is in the mainstream of the Kanto region as the gym leader of Viridian City and the 8th gym leader of the Kanto region. The gym leaders are individuals established by the Pokemon League to challenge up-and-coming Pokemon trainers, and Giovanni is the ground-type gym leader. But, unbeknownst to others who observe him under the surface, Giovanni is a ruthless leader of a criminal organization
known as Team Rocket. These funny little guys go around and really just do anything they physically can for money. I'm pretty sure the first
Yes.
interaction we actually get with Team Rocket is in the town right after Viridian? I forget what it's called, but it's the town where, Wait, hold on, do you
where you
encounter him?
encounter your favorite character, whose default name is Blue, but in
Yeah.
the original version it was green. Anyways, you encounter a Team Rocket grunt on a bridge, soliciting children to join a criminal organization, and if denied, simply hucks a nugget of pure gold at them. While this can be used in-game, it is used off as a payment. In reality, having a solid nugget of gold the size of your fist thrown at your head is absolutely very dangerous, and were that to come into contact directly with the skull of the protagonist character, who is canonically a child no younger than 10 and yet no older than 12, whose default name is Red, a child who does not speak and is potentially mute.
I'm pretty sure he's
Uh,
actually canonically mute. He doesn't talk in literally any of the games. The only
yes.
time he ever talks is in the Origins anime, I think. I don't even... Does he even talk in the manga?
He does talk in the manga and in Origin, but those are the only cases, and since we're talking about games right now, that's why I said... Anyways, yeah, back to my original point. If you got hit in the head with a brick of gold, you probably would not feel very good.
Well,
So, yeah.
for
That's
now,
starting with Team
let's stick to the crimes of Giovanni himself for a bit, or at least continue with the interactions. Giovanni,
First,
I think
one of
we've...
Giovanni's racketeer.
Oh yeah, racketeering, of course, but before we get into any of the funny little crime things, let's talk about when we first actually get to see Giovanni. You know, the boy.
Yes. So, we have several
Oh
in-person
god, I'm
interactions.
being called by someone. Lord, I'm sorry. I need to tell them I cannot right now. You continue on, Luz. I'm gonna have to DM this person. I can't.
You do that, Professor Cactus. I will take care of this. So, anyways, while my assistant deals with that intrepid, imbecilic interloper, that's a lot of I words. Anyways, yes, from what yeah. Okay. Giovanni, we have several interactions with him throughout the original Kanto games, including in his gym, facing off against him as the final challenge before facing the Elite Four, standing toe-to-toe to him in Team Rocket's headquarters, and, of course, most notoriously, at the peak of the Silphco headquarters, once he has taken over the building. Because Team Rocket does crime.
Yeah.
And one of those crimes was sieging Silphco, a company that makes a large number of products in order to steal and two patented unreleased creations. I almost said unpatented re-released. That is not how those words work.
We also... Is that all the Kanto encounters? Because if so, we should probably... I'm gonna really quickly mention that we also encounter him at a different area, although it's technically a part of the same general landmass. There's also the Johto encounters, where you can encounter him during a funny little event. aka the Celebi event. In this game, you also get to meet his son, and the rebuilt Team Rocket that includes his ex-wife.
Yes,
Which
his
is
ex-wife, Ariana, who is
still...
indoctrinated into this criminal organization as one of its 4 admins and higher-ups, and his son, Silver, who, second crime, avoidance of paying child support.
But yeah, you also get to encounter him in this game, where you travel back into time using the mythical Pokemon? Yeah, mythical Pokemon Celebi.
Which is a celery fairy.
Yeah. In which you encounter Giovanni and stop him from... do you stop him from creating the Team Rocket in the first place, or is it a different encounter? Is it a different thing that he does? I forget what exactly. I do know that you encounter him in that game, though, along with...
Later on, you can talk to him, and then he decides not to reform Team Rocket. But from what I was able to find,
reforming.
it makes sense. The event was limited time, like very limited time, like a span of I think a week, if I remember correctly, was how long you could actually get the in-person item, which you then needed to figure out how to hook up to your game, scan the code, transfer it into your Game Boy, and then like do the events in the thing. Yeah, that very limited event, not a lot of information on it. Which you can go back in time and talk to Giovanni at several points by a waterfall, and afterwards he walks off screen, and you can hear the sound of a plunk into water.
Although
which it is
it is confirmed that he does not die there due to the fact that we also encounter him later on in the exact same outfit in the, I think it's the Unova region? Yeah, Unova region. In Pokemon
yes,
Black and White 2, where you can encounter him as a participant in the funny little battle tournament they got going on over there, where you also get to encounter many other characters like Cynthia, Red even, and a bunch of others. But he does participate in that event.
indeed he does. Which, while he did use creatures to battle against children, it is outwardly stated in the Pokemon universe that the Pokemon 9 times out of 10 do consent to battle and even enjoy partaking in a good bit of roughhousing and battle tomfoolery. And the battle tournaments in Unova are legally hosted events hosted by the Pokemon League, so he doesn't break any laws there. Besides,
But
maybe because he left Kanto and Johto to Unova, a place where he cannot be punished for his crimes due to technically not doing any of them there.
back on the topic of Kanto, let's actually go over what he did and what crimes he actually committed now that we've gone over his appearances. And I know we did mention Alola earlier, but that's going to be a completely different case, as that's a completely different Giovanni.
Yes, because timelines are confusing, and Arceus does not have one.
Day Algo, you strange creature. Anyways,
Yeah.
let's
Throughout
go on.
the course of the original generation of the games Red, Blue, Yellow, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Let's Go Pikachu, and Let's Go Eevee, we have evidence of Giovanni creating. He did not invent the crimes, stupid bad brain, function, and read your notes. Read the words you wrote down, you stupid, blind, tiny-brained monkey man.
Do you want me to do this little part for a second here while you recollect yourself,
Yes.
Doctor?
I will re-equip my brainstem. You take care of this introduction to his first crimes.
Well, we might as well go over the biggest and most important ones first. Before we go over the little small petty details, let's talk about his biggest big boy, the creation of Mewtwo. First of all, creation of a bioweapon, right there and then. Second of all, we can probably put in animal abuse, just for the creation of a bioweapon there, that is sentient and alive. Along with that...
Mewtwo has human-level intelligence. No, intelligence surpassing that of humans. So, a sentient and sapient creature, biologically engineered to be a man-made god of destruction, Giovanni to use for his own devious machinations and cruel enigmatic whims, to become a worldwide conqueror and make mass amounts of money by... I'm not quite sure why specifically he decided to create Mewtwo, since his overarching goal is literally to make money. Maybe it was to mass produce eventually, but I'm not quite sure.
If I were to guess, it would be probably to... I mean, yes, his whole goal is money, but like, how do you become super rich? Literally take over the economy by force.
Fair enough.
How do you do that? Mass weapon! Terrorism! By the way, we might as well mention that.
Yes, even if it's not explicitly stated that that was his goal, he did commit several acts of terrorism, including those with Mewtwo.
We can also mention bioterrorism, technically. Yeah. Destruction.
An attempted coup d'etat.
Yeah, that as well. There's also the funny little thing called destruction of government property.
Yes, and destruction of private-owned property owned by companies from possibly the only genuinely well-meaning billionaire, the owner of the
Silco
Corporation. Yes, thank you, Dr. Cactus.
You're welcome, Professor Ashwood.
Yes. The producers of the Master Ball, a type of Pokeball that can capture any Pokemon without fail, even those of godlike power such as Arceus or Deoxys, and the Silphscope, which allows one to gaze upon the ethereal and witness ghosts. Which I'm not quite sure how they managed to do that with technology, but hey, this is a world where there are dragons flying about, and where a cormorant can shoot a fist out of its mouth with enough force to puncture a jet engine. So you know what? Logic takes a bit of a backseat.
Lewis, I will also mention this. I am recording something, go away. Sorry, I'll be right back. You continue ranting, but I was just gonna mention, there are ghost-type Pokemon. Ghosts are very real.
Yes, there are.
Anyways,
So
I'll
our
be
ghost type
back.
Pokemon.
Lewis, you rant
Yes,
for a bit. I gotta go deal with my mom.
Over Giovanni's crimes. You will return shortly, Dr. Cactus. But yes, so the ghost type Pokemon already exist, meaning the Silph Scope is unnecessary, unless of course ghosts of human souls are separate from ghost type Pokemon, despite the fact several ghost type Pokemon are stated to come from human souls. So I'm not even going to open that can of worms, because if I open that can of worms, I will be lying in it. So I'm just going to burn that bridge when I get to it. Yes, anyways, back to Giovanni's crimes. Of course, as the founder and sole proprietor of Team Rocket, a criminal organization, he has that under his charges. Not to mention, countless counts. That is a weird turn of wording. I hate my speakingness. Why are you like this, me? Be better. Anyways, countless assault charges. Not to mention coercion, breaking and entering, embezzlement, mass amounts of terroristic acts, which we have already mentioned, animal abuse, regular abuse, negligence, animal trafficking, money laundering, crimes against humanity, unlawful entry, staging hostage situations, attempted coup d'etat, which I mentioned before, and racketeering, as his admins are under his direct control and also commit a vast slew of crimes. Oh my nose. Stuffy, I don't like that. But yes, those are just some of the crimes Giovanni has committed, though those are the ones he's committed in the primary timeline. So, that is where we start off with this. So yes, Giovanni, in his original appearance, throughout generations 1, 2, and 5, has a vast slew of crimes under his belt. And now, if you will allow me a brief detour, I will go into Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, the sequel games to Generation 7, taking place in the Alola region, a region consisting of 4 islands based on Hawaii. Giovanni here is from a different timeline, where he recreates his criminal organization in the form of Team Rainbow Rocket, a new and, for lack of a better word, improved organization consisting of not just Giovanna himself, but also the leaders of every other evil organization throughout the course of Pokemon's history up to that point. Which means we can most likely also charge him with... I wrote it down right here. Why can I not find it? It's lost in the slope of the rest of his crimes. Screw it, I'm just going to describe the crime since I can't find the word for it, nor can I remember it off the top of my head. He got a bunch of other terrorists and made a coalition, Legion of Doom style, which, gathering a bunch of criminals, a bunch of terrorists no less, who have all committed various crimes against humanity, and was essentially a reverse NATO. Yeah, that's kind of obvious.
I'm back.
Big bad guy.
I'm back.
Welcome back, Doctor. This.
I'm sorry, I had to go help with unloading items for the Pokemon Center.
I see. No problem. No problem. I'm simply going into the spatial rift that led to Team Rainbow Rocket and its formation.
Oh
as
yeah,
well as the
that's
coherent
fun.
and installment of countless other terroristic leaders and the... I just had the word in my head. It's when you take other organizations into yours. It's not consumption.
Monopolize
it's
them?
not
Monopolizing?
Not monopolization. It's when you take other groups. It's not indoctrination. Screw it. He just merged a bunch of other terroristic groups into his to make it bigger and
describe the thing again so I can look it up.
It's when other groups merge with a bigger group.
Merge with a bigger group. It is literally called a merger.
Ah, I see. I am dumb.
Yeah, when two
Anyways, yes.
existing independent companies combine to form a new singular legal entity, mergers. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, so Giovanni of the Alola region comes from a rift in space-time from a different Giovanni, who is stated to have basically succeeded in all of his goals. And each member of Team Rainbow Rocket he takes in, ranging from Archie, Maxie, Cyrus, Getsis, Lysander. Each of them, criminals to beyond the peak of humanity, are each stated to be from a different world line, where each of them succeeded in their goals. So you have an organization created of a man who conquered the world and monopolized all money, a man who flooded the world, a man who got rid of all water and turned the earth into a blob of land, a man who literally rewrote reality, a man who is explicitly stated to have not even sugarcoating it, actually murdered the protagonist of the first two Black and White games, by sometime between when they end and when Black and White 2 takes place. And I'm not even going to get into Gexis. He is everything Giovanni is, but worse. And
and then we also have to include the fact that this version of Giovanni did kill children as well?
This version of Giovanni did explicitly murder children and attempt to do so again, holding no qualms of even exterminating his own flesh and blood. Because frick frack paddywhack, that man is total whack.
But, yeah, no, very messed up people, very messed up version of Giovanni. Which does mean we can include all the crimes of main Giovanni into this Giovanni.
Indeed, with several more charges. And while we can't find there's no evidence of exact other charges that Rainbow Giovanni, as I will not so affectionately be dubbing him, has committed, it is stated that he is exuberantly
increasingly worse than mainline Giovanni.
Overwhelmingly despicable individual with untold counts of cruelty and near devilish menageries of individuals been bound into his. I can say big words sometimes, but my words don't like to. But
well,
yes, Rainbow Giovanni, at the very least, we can, at bare minimum, double Giovanni's previous crimes.
Turning you up
for
Rainbow
Giovanni.
But, with that being stated, and, you know, all of that out of the way, let's get on. We have the crimes of mainline Giovanni, and we have the crimes of Rainbow Giovanni. But what exactly, like, how would they be charged? How many years would they serve?
They would not even serve years, for they would go straight to life sentence. And if they were to be charged with the death sentence intact, they would be given the death sentence. So, by my calculations, Giovanni last name, the original villain of Pokemon, would have, if we give him an averaged out sentence for all of his crimes, taking the years for his crimes, the life sentences for his major crimes, and converting his death sentences into life sentences, he
Professor,
has
wait, Professor Ashwood?
Yes.
Really quickly before we get into that, I would like to mention that these estimations are based off of him being charged in the state of New York City. We would love to do it based off of Japan, but New York is easier, and also doesn't include the death sentence, so, yeah, so all of these crimes are being judged based off of what they would be charged with if he was a New York citizen, and the reason why we do this is because he was in Unova, which is based off of New York. We would love to do it based off of Kanto laws, which would be, you know, Japan, but
that would just be death sentence.
He would just die.
Just American measurements, which will give us an overarching grand of just the sheer amount of crimes this magnanimous, enigmatic, and devilishly corrupt soul has committed. For if we were to give him the Kanto or Japanese law, as they still have death penalty, he would just have the death penalty.
Yeah, he would just die.
He would just be executed via hanging. Which would not provide interesting content. Because Giovanni is here, so we can get content off of him. Because just like we want the money of entertainment and a good grade. Take out my blood and replace it with honey. Holy macaroni, I love money.
Anyways, Professor Ashwood, if you would so kindly send me just the exact, you know, amount of stuff, seeing how my mic seems to be working a little bit better than yours at times. Send me his sentencing. Send me what he has been charged with and his general sentencing, so I may read that off so kindly. In the meantime, while we're waiting on that, and while we have this little bit of a break here, we would like to let you know that the next person that we will be talking about is his manga counterpart. So, but before we do that, his sentencing. his average sentence, based off of Unova law, would be 115 years, 6 life sentences, and an untold millions in fees. Overall, this man is deplorable. He has committed many crimes. But what about Mr. Rainbow? What about the rainbow version? Well, let me tell you, it's even worse. It's so much worse. 336 years, 15 life sentences, and possibly trillions of dollars in fines. If it wasn't obvious.
That man, no good.
Deplorable. Literally, just actual criminal.
Deplorable,
Anyways.
devious, despicable, devilish, demonic, one could say.
But
Downright, he's if Zeus was a capitalist.
But now comes the question of, is there worse? And let me tell you, with the general stigma that comes with the Pokemon Adventures manga, there's a chance that we might have an even worse version of Giovanni on our hands with the manga rendition.
Yes, Pokemon Adventures is, while not an overly mature or dramatic boys level interpretation of the Pokemon universe, is a much more, shall I say, dark iteration. As well as not overly edgy or gritty, it still has quite a bit more realism.
People just straight up die.
People straight up die. And as do the Pokemon. For we see, even in one of Giovanni's first appearances, in one of Giovanni's first appearances in the Adventures manga, Magmar, a fire-type Pokemon, is frozen solid from an attack, and Giovanni goes out of his way to shatter the creature. Animal abuse.
That's not even abuse at that point. That's just straight up murder. I feel like
that's just.
But yeah, no, just straight up kills the butt duck. Rip butt duck.
Yes, which as Dr. Cactus is so affectionately referring to it, it is because Magmar's forehead has a slit in it, which many fans have compared to a butt on its head. And it is a fire.
So, butt duck.
Yes.
Anyways, we love Magmar.
Yes. Throughout the course of Giovanni's iteration in the manga, while we do see a much more in-depth look at his crimes, we also see a side of Giovanni we see rarely anywhere else. The side of him who regrets his actions. As throughout the manga, while he is overwhelmingly more deplorable, we get to see an active look in his mind as to why he's done what he's done, as well as a chance where we can see if, given the right circumstances, Giovanni may even have turned things around, as we see later on when he reunites with his son Silver, and apparently gets on such good terms with him that when he is left in a wounded state, sickened, and searching the world for a cure for an unknown illness before he can perish, Silver grants him a powerful Pokemon known as Ursaring, which is the equivalent of if you gave a grizzly bear steroids. And give it the order to protect his father at all costs and keep an eye on him. And Giovanni in the manga even went out of his way to protect a little girl by the name of Yellow from a terroristic attack by a corrupt member of the Elite Four known as Lance, a user of several dozen dragons, which I'm not even going to get into that because we would be here for several hours. Anyways,
overall,
Giovanni in the manga, he does has his
overall,
and his of potentially downright heroism. He is still, at heart, Giovanni last name.
Morally better guy. In all honesty, we have a morally better Giovanni than the mainline games.
Yes.
Which is
but
surprising.
As well, Giovanni is a better person. There's no doubt about that. He also takes much more deplorable acts for the sake of trying to better the world. At first, his goals are the same: money, control, power. But as the story develops, we see new takes and looks into Giovanni, allowing us to delve deeper into his mind, including a point when he even manages to ally with his former creation and victim, Mewtwo, in order to battle against an extraterrestrial entity known as Deoxys. However, as Deoxys is an extraterrestrial creature which has come into the atmosphere, and the government of the Pokemon League are already aware of its existence, despite doing nothing to prevent it, that means that, even though he did it with best intentions in mind, surprisingly enough, for this money-hungry scoundrel, Giovanna is guilty of attempted destruction of government property.
Yeah, aliens are like automatically considered government property. It's weird. I don't know why. but
It's very peculiar. That's not even a Pokemon law. That's one from the real world. It's
yeah,
very
that's
strange, and I don't understand. But I am not the Area 51.
yeah, no, that's a real world law. We looked up, we checked. It's real. I have no idea why.
But, not to mention that, call me a bird and give me a gizzard, Giovanni left a child in a blizzard.
Once again.
That gives us account of child abuse and negligence.
Yep, he can't take care of a kid for his life.
Yes, and make a building out of girders, he has 16 counts of murders.
Holy lord.
Confirmed. Those are the ones we see on the page, not to mention those in his unbridled rage, for Giovanni is serial scum, and he doesn't even need to use a gun. Whether it's near, whether it's far, he will win without even a scar, for he is not Al Capone, he's murdered hundreds, and they are all pwned.
Dr. Ashwood?
Yes.
I mean, Professor Ashwood, apologies, you're rhyming again.
Ah, drat. Sorry about that.
While he gets back from his rhyming little episode he's got going on in there, yeah, no, Giovanni killed a lot of people. I'm pretty sure. Did he kill any kids?
In the manga, we don't see any explicitly. It is implied that he has done it a few times, not directly with actions have led to it. However, we don't have any confirmation. So for Adventures manga, at least, we can only give him 3 counts of child abuse, instead of the 6 from regular Giovanni and the 47 from Rainbow Giovanni.
Anyways, yeah, no, he's still a very messed up guy. Don't know if he's any worse than, like, Rainbow, but we'll have to find out.
Giovanni, Rainbow Giovanni is much worse. So, primary Giovanni, or as I will call him, Giovanni last name. Then we have Rainbow Giovanni, and Adventures Giovanni, I will be dubbing Giovanni Good Guy, for he is the closest thing to a good guy we will most likely get out of all the Giovannis we're covering today.
Yeah.
And overall, the overarching number of crimes we have for Giovanni in the Adventures manga are assault, murder, theft, coercion, blackmail, breaking and entering, racketeering, abuse, negligence, child abuse, animal trafficking, taking a hostage, treason, usage of illegal operation.
I'm still
Alright. Terrorism,
still recording.
Racketeering, as well as, once again, an attempted coup d'etat, unlawful entry, and creation of a criminal organization. So I feel like that one doesn't have to be said, because that's why he is known as Giovanni Head of Team Rocket, because he created Team Rocket.
Yepperino, anyways, if you would like to, please send me his, sentencing. Mr. Good Sir.
Indeed, I will.
In the meantime, I'd like to inform you all about the next guy that we're covering will be Origins Giovanni. Which is, all honesty, probably one of my favorites. Seeing how he's animated. It's the only anime version of him that we're covering, because we're not going to be covering main anime Giovanni because he doesn't appear enough. At least, he's either appeared too much for us to talk about or too little for us to recognize, so we're keeping it to the origins, because that's just more neat. Anyways, when it comes to the sentencing of Adventures Giovanni, we have a lovely, lovely number of 137 years, 4 life sentences, which currently puts him at the lowest life sentences compared out of anyone, and roughly 957 million, give or take, a few thousand in fines.
Yes.
With that being said, on to Origins. Professor Ashwood, take it away.
With pleasure, Dr. Cactus. So, Origins. Possibly the closest thing we have to a quote-unquote tame Giovanni. Because while we do know he has quite a number of... we don't get any explicit evidence. Though it is implied and stated several times, he still has the de facto crimes that all Giovannis have, being creation of a criminal organization, creation of a bioweapon, terroristic acts, animal trafficking, animal abuse, and negligence. However, unlike the other Giovannis, we don't have any direct counts of murder, so we can't count any of that. However, in exchange for not having any direct counts of we have so much more terrorism.
Oh Lord. How much more? How much more terrorism is there in this lovely version of him?
So, we trade Rainbow Giovanni's 115 count, Prime Giovanni's 26 counts of murder, and Manga Giovanni's Juice Jolie Jenkins big amounts of murder, 4 origins, 1 implied murder, and 37 counts of terrorism. 36 of which with a bioweapon.
Good lord. Oh my god. And a quick reminder for y'all. Origins is a 4-episode anime. So there's not a lot.
Yes. So while Giovanni in Origins is definitely the most tame in the standards, he isn't going out of his way to cull competitors or exterminate those around him. He possibly has the largest find and greatest amount of life sentences for almost any Giovanni will be covering. Enough life sentences that you could probably exterminate the entire country of Switzerland with this man's finds.
God lord. Okay. Send me the sentencing. I swear, if this is somehow worse than Rainbow Giovanni, I'm gonna be very shocked. I doubt it, but like still, there's a chance. With that many accounts of terrorism, I feel like by chance. Then again, Rainbow does have like trillions of dollars in fines, so
Yes.
I'm still waiting for the sentencing. There it is. An average of 65 years. 27 life sentences! Dear lord. And, 278... Is that trillion? Yeah, we know that's billion. Is that billion?
That's billion.
278 billion 936,178,000 of fines and bills. Is that the longest sentence that we have?
That is the highest number of life sentences we have. Yes.
The highest number of life sentences, yes, but is that just like overall? Is that the longest like jail time?
Yeah. Overall, I'd say if not the highest jail time, definitely.
Definitely second place, because we got the lovely thing that is Rainbow Giovanni just sitting there casually.
Yes. Rainbow Giovanni will serve 15 life sentences and 336 years in prison, while Origins Giovanni, while he has the shortest sentence overall of only 65 years to serve, he also has 27 total life sentences.
Well, last but not least, we have the part that I'm gonna have to be the expert in, and that is the Masters edition of the boy. In Pokemon Masters, he honestly doesn't do a whole lot of big crimes. Then again, with our limited research time, I was only able to go over the Kanto section, although that is his main section of crimes, and it's generally under the assumption that with this being a spin-off game, it's easy to assume that, well, it's just the same crimes over and over again. With that being said, we do have confirmed acts of terrorism, creation of a bioweapon, and the general fact that with this being a Rainbow Rocket rendition, he's technically under that veil, but we won't include those crimes, seeing how they're not outright stated. There's no accounts of murder, but there is attempted theft and genuine theft of private property, destruction of private property, and many more things. Just in the Kanto section alone. And I think there is... Okay, I don't think there actually... No, there is no attempted murder, but he does do a lot of really messed up stuff, although we will keep it short because it's Pokemon Masters. If you really want to find out more about him, play the game, it's on mobile, it's free. Anyway.
It is.
With that being said...
We have the crimes of organization of a criminal organization. Organization of a criminal organization. That is creation of a criminal organization. Kidnapping, attempted theft, destruction of private property, breaking and entering, holding a hostage, terrorism, actual theft, and domestic terrorism.
Yep. With all that being said, Professor Ashwood, please send me the lovely sentencing.
Yes. So, with this Giovanni, I'll be having to do something I haven't for the others, and that is, rather than directly getting a specific sentence, I will take into account his crimes in comparison to how much the others were charged for it, and give us an estimated sentence. By comparing the same crimes to the other Giovannis that committed the same crimes, comparing and contrasting the sentence times for the amount of charges, and, yeah, basically doing my best to give us a legal case.
Yeah, because in all honesty, it's hard to find good info on him. He is, in all honesty, you know, it's a spin-off game. What do you want from us? But anyways, the sentencing, please. We have, ooh, this guy actually has really short stuff. Okay, we have 90 years in prison for Pokemon Masters EX, 2 life sentences, somewhere between $100,000 and $100 million in fines and debt. Overall being the smallest amount of stuff. With that all being said, we can confirm Giovanni is very, very bad no matter what rendition you choose of him.
Yes.
You can probably get a
However,
good amount of stuff in the main anime too.
We have one more thing to go over. We have what I call Prime Giovanni, a version of Giovanni covered in the video Pokemon History Giovanni and Team Rocket, which compiled amounts of evidence in a long-form YouTube video essay by the channel SPN, which delves into Giovanni's last name and his long life, including his time with Team Rocket and various actions.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes. So while this one is not any of our Giovannis in specifics, this one, considering the fact there are a number of timelines, which is why we have so many this one we can very easily write off as a version of Giovanni who went through a trail of events that played out similarly to some middle ground between all, not quite as merciful as Adventures, ironically enough, not quite as cruel as Rainbow, not quite as money-hungry as the original, and not quite as, I'll just say, as the youth would put it, goated with the sauce, as he So,
that is vile.
For Pokemon History Giovanni's crimes, we have animal cruelty, animal abuse, blackmail, murder, mass murder, attempted mass murder, pollution, coercion, child abandonment, crimes against humanity, attempted ecocide, successful ecocide, terrorism, kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, brainwashing, theft, attempted world domination, conspiracy, unethical experimentation, abuse, negligence, child abuse, embezzlement, torture, mass torture, usage of illegal operations, organized crime, attempted genocide, breaking and entering, destruction of private property, destruction of government property, destruction of public property, attempted theft, evasion of child support, grand larceny, obstruction of law, holding a hostage, creation of a bioweapon, usage of a bioweapon, distribution of bioweapons, violation of international trade laws, treason, high treason, attempted deicide, enslavement of a deity, defacing of government property. I feel like we can cut that there, because if we keep going, I'll just go in 5 minutes.
Lord.
I'm pretty sure if we go over every version of Giovanni, he has genuinely committed every crime in the book, except for the ones that sites like YouTube would not let him. I'm pretty sure the only one he has not committed, which I mean, good on him for not doing that, but he still has so many others that I don't think anyone would bat an eye if they released a new book saying that he had a dungeon like Didi.
Oh,
Didi, it's
God.
Didi, not Didi. Words.
Why did you bring that into this conversation, you goblin? Anyways, send me the sentencing.
Because I'm causing problems.
Send me the sentencing.
I will send you the sentencing for, as I will call him, Prime Giovanni.
Ooh, this has been a long recording. And surprisingly enough, we have not passed the 1 hour mark.
Nice.
We were able to compress it down to less than an hour. But we are not done yet, so we'll see if that stays true once we finish the sentencing of lovely, lovely Prime Giovanni, aka YouTube video Giovanni. Give us a second here while he types out the sentencing. So I can get that thing faxed. Okay, here we go. We have, dear Lord have mercy.
Whoops, I forgot a few zeros. My bad. Let me fix that.
You were. That is. Oh. Oh no. Okay.
Whoops,
Six.
there's an extra one of them. My bad. Let me actually fix that before you read that off because apparently my fingers don't like me. Let me make sure I actually got that number right this time. There we go. Yes, that's right.
693 years, 37 life sentences, which is surprisingly. Hold on, wait. Yeah, no, no. Unsurprisingly, that is the highest number of life sentences, and a minimum of a very big number of what?
173 trillion, 528 billion, 382 million, 700. Oh no, I missed a number. That is 160 quadrillion, 528 trillion, 382, 732 million, and $5.
AKA 173.5 quadrillion dollars in fines and debt. Dear holy moly, that's a big number.
That is a big number.
With that being said, I think that's all for Giovanni, isn't it?
That is all we have for Giovanni, covering the crimes from his original introduction game, to his sights in the Adventures manga, to the Origins anime, to the spin-off game of Masters, to the culmination of all of his crimes in a single individual. We have now covered the extensive crimes of Giovanni Last Name from the Pokemon franchise.
And
His
of course,
sins, his crimes,
and of course,
and inevitably his burning for eternity, because holy moly, he is a bad dude.
and of course, we have given him in sentencing. Anyways, I was Dr. Cactus, the wonderful lab assistant.
I am Professor LDB Ashwood, pleased to bring you your information in the most chaotic way possible.
Yep, there it is. And with that being said, we hope you enjoyed this crime case. Goodbye!
Adios, sayonara, do svidanya.
And of course, smell you later, chumps.